Alex,
Hello.
are you ready
Casey.
for are you ready for this?
I am indeed. Ready and roaring to go.
Good, good. All right. Well, Chad, are you ready for this? I don't know if it doesn't seem like they're
Uh,
ready. Seems I feel like one of those guys like, I can't hear you.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? All right. Well, at least one person said they're ready. So let's flamp. Hey everybody,
Pow.
welcome to the stream. Hey,
Hey,
everybody
hey.
give a warm welcome to our dear friend, MrAlexTech. Alex, how you doing, man?
It's me. I'm very well, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm so good, man. I'm so glad to have you on here. Um, I know I said this about all of our guests here, but man, I am just so I love your content, man. I love what you do. I love your style. I love how you present things. You're just all around cool dude. And so it's an honor to have
Thank
you
you.
here on my channel. And I know a lot of people that watch my channel watch your channel. And so it's really cool to kind of do a little collab here. This is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for, well, firstly, thank you for the kind words. Big fan of yourself as well. We've been chatting for a little while, haven't we? So yeah, it's all good. And thank you very much for having me on the channel, so I can say hello to everyone else. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. It's cool to be here, and we can have a little natter and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Mhm.
So today we're going to be talking about just some cool stuff that Alex has been making for Resolve, and I'm excited for that. But I want to do a shameless plug here because we are just a couple weeks away from ResolveCon. If you guys don't know, we are doing a live Resolve learning event with all kinds of Resolve-based YouTubers, people that teach Resolve, do Resolve tutorials. One of the talented presenters being MrAlexTech. We also have Darren, who's in the chat as well, and a few other people that are just pretty darn amazing. And so we're putting together an event that it's going to be 2 solid days of just Resolve nerdery and good times and hanging out. And I'm really excited. We're going to have giveaways. It's just going to be the best. It's going to be the best thing. So yeah, you do not want to miss that. Make sure to go to resolvecon.com and register and make sure that we know that you are going to be watching on the live stream here on YouTube. I believe you could also possibly, if you still want to come out to Oregon and you want to hang out with us, I think you could probably still get a ticket and come out here. All right. I think we have just a couple spots left, like literally like one or two spots left. So get it. All right.
Yeah, come meet all of us and chat really nerdy stuff in person for 2 days
so
straight.
Nerdy. Oh,
yeah.
This is going to be a nerd convention. So good.
It really is. We can talk about color spaces and nodes, and it's going to be great.
Oh man, it's like, imagine you were reading the Davinci Resolve manual, but like instead you were just hanging out. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
we'll talk about other stuff too, probably. I don't know.
Maybe. Once we've got through the entire 4,000 page manual.
Correct.
We'll talk about something else.
So so let's get into it for anybody that's watching. Alex, tell us, for anybody who's not familiar with you, tell us what you're about and kind of what you focus on your channel and what you're into.
Sure, man. So yeah, I've got a Davinci Resolve channel as well, MrAlexTech. The name is actually Alex, but MrAlexTech, and I quite often refer to myself in the third person, which is very strange. But
yes,
on the channel, I focus mostly on beginner level tutorials and just having fun is sort of the goal. Having some fun with Davinci Resolve. I make a few plugins, which I see people have mentioned in the chat, which is awesome. Thank you for using them. Glad they are working well. And yeah, I want to make Davinci Resolve approachable and fun and just have a mess around. And the more you mess around with it, the more you learn and the better you get. And you can do whatever you want. You want to be a filmmaker, be a filmmaker. You want to make silly YouTube videos, do that too. You want to just make memes, you can do that in Davinci Resolve. It's for everyone and it's fun. So I just try to come at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Just mess about and have loads of fun with Davinci Resolve. And that's me.
That's the thing I like so much about your channel is it always feels fun. It always feels playful, you know, and that's what this stuff should be. Like we take our stuff,
Yeah,
ourselves so seriously sometimes. And it's like, dude, we're making movies. Like, come on, come on.
yeah.
Like it's not
It's
a life or
cool.
death thing. This is awesome.
Yeah,
So,
and if you get it wrong, you go delete,
yep, it's not
and
that
that's
big a
it.
deal. It really isn't,
Yeah.
you know, and people get so upset sometimes. I mean, including me. Like I'll just be like, "Oh no, it has to be great." And it's like, "No, dude. This is this is a movie about an alien, you know, carrying a beer. Like nobody cares." You
I
know.
would watch that movie, by the way.
I would too. Yes,
It's
that's
E.T., but he's just trying to get a packet of beer somewhere.
yeah. Well, I guess he did. I guess he did get into some beers in ET, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But yeah, man, I love love the things you make and your style. Loved your presentation at ResolveCon last year, and
Thank you.
just a very very talented teacher. And man, something that I'm super excited about are these plugins and presets and stuff that you're making, dude. And I just feel like
Yeah.
what happened was like I kept asking you, hanging out, like I was like, hey man, what you got going on? Like, what's going on? You're like, yeah, not much, not much. And you're just like, just the most freaking awesome plugin like you've ever seen, just free for Davinci Resolve, you know, like just so cool. So how did that come about? Why'd you start? How'd you get? I didn't even know you knew Fusion well enough to like craft these things. What's up?
So, yeah, I know. So I actually started making little packs ages ago. I started messing around with sort of transition packs and that sort of thing. Because again, I just wanted to tinker and learn and that sort of stuff. And as they started to introduce more into the back end of DaVinci Resolve, they added something called anim curves, which I can show. I'll keep talking, but I'll get something open and we can talk through it. Anim curves are really, really clever, and they allow you to just animate stuff. They're designed for transitions, really. It means that you don't need to do any keyframe when you're making transitions. It does all the work for you. It animates it with a curve. It accelerates. It's really simple to use, really, really clever. So I started to think, can we just do everything with these? Can we just use these built-in animation curves to animate titles and pop-ins and this, that, and the other? So then I started having a look at the expressions, which, if you're a big nerd, expressions are really cool to get into. They're quite difficult to get into. But once you're there, you realize some of the magic that you can do with them is really, really clever. And when I make things, this is going to sound really selfish, kind of. I think about myself. I purely think about myself, and I think, what would make my life easier?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
make that thing. And if I go, this is awesome, and I go, someone else is going to enjoy this too. So then I hand it out. So some of the stuff I make less useful. I did a zoom one because I wanted a zoom function in DaVinci Resolve that didn't exist. So some people that's useful for, but for me, it was a game changer. It just sped up my workflow massively. So I handed it out. And the same process was for the Magic Animate one. I think this is really cool. It saves me loads of time. So I gave it out, and well, you agreed. A few other people seemed to enjoy it, and it flew off the shelves. It was very, very popular.
Yeah, really cool.
So there you go. And so it came about in a strange way. It was just digging around. Again, just digging, just playing, just going, is this going to work? And it did. So you always learning, always just play, see what you can do. That's my tip for everything.
Such a good tip, man, because that's the thing is like I feel like the difference between somebody who's going to be really good at something and somebody who's maybe not is how much time do you spend playing? How much time do you spend messing with it? You know? And it's just you can't fake it. Like you have to do that, you know?
Yeah. It's like if you're into sports, you pick up an American football, you go play in the yard.
Yep.
It's the same thing. You've got that as 10 minutes, just dig into Resolve and go, I haven't got an objective. I'm just going to click around, try and achieve something. And if I do, win, or if I don't, it's no biggie. I've had some fun for 10 minutes. And I think that's just the way to do it, really. I've also got another game-changing tip for you, which I don't think Casey knows about. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I'll share it with you anyway.
Okay. I'm going to switch to screen.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Let's see.
Is that really fuzzy, or is it looking all right?
I think it's a little fuzzy. This might be kind of hard over Zoom.
Oh,
Sorry,
I'll talk you
guys.
through it anyway. So
Okay.
it should
You can
be.
get the main idea, right?
Yeah, exactly. So on my desktop here, I have just an icon. It's actually a Davinci Resolve bin icon. And it's called Secret Project. Can be called whatever you like. I just called it
Ooh.
Secret Project.
Well, that's
And
exciting.
double click. Davinci Resolve is having a think. I haven't pressed anything else at all. We're in Davinci Resolve. And this is why I love this. I've got bins set up. I've got timelines. I've got 2 timelines set up in there. One for your YouTube Shorts and another one for all my YouTube videos. It's 4K 30 because I do everything in 4K 30. I've got all of my tracks set up. They've all been mixed. They've all got effects on there. I've got a folder in here with all of my PNGs. I've got a sound effects folder with all of my sounds. And I've got effects. So I've got any adjustment clips, the Magic Animate that I use, color grades, anything I can drop in there. This is really cool because you can drop things in here which you can't drop into power bins, like timelines, all that sort of stuff. And I've got some stock footage. So whenever I come to make a YouTube video, I open this up, I import my footage, drop it on my timeline, which is already pre-made and ready to go. And then I just edit. Don't need to do anything else. Everything is done and ready to go. So I love this. It's amazing.
So this is just a bin file.
Yeah, literally.
Like
so
you just put everything in a bin and saved it out as a bin.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just double click that and it'll load it into whatever project you have.
It starts up well, you've got 2 options. You can either drop the bin file into an existing project, or if you just double click, it opens up Davinci Resolve, opens up a new project. So this is just an untitled project. And if I hit my Control and S to save, it says, give it a name. I give it a name, call it Casey, hit save, and we're good. Now, the cool thing with this, I'll show you how to create them in a sec. This 4K 30 has obviously got all this stuff on it now. If I was to close Davinci Resolve, go back to this project, double click. This never gets overwritten because it's just a template. It's just a bin file. So I double click this. Davinci Resolve has a think.
Oh boy.
And we're right back where we started. It can never be overwritten. You could make a copy of it if you wanted to, but it can never be overwritten. It's always there. Every time I make a YouTube video, double click, it opens. My timelines are ready. I start editing. I don't need to set anything up, and it means that every single one of my YouTube videos is consistent. Winner.
Well, it's been great having you on. Alex, thank you. That was great. And so if anybody needs to learn anything,
Casey's off to rethink all
that's
of this.
amazing, man. Like it's so simple and it's obvious now, right? But like I never thought to use it that way.
No. So I've been exporting timelines. And I was like, this is amazing. I'll export a timeline. And then I open it. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute. Can you do the same with a bin? Because the bin contains the timelines and contains everything else. And I tried it and it works. I was like, oh, this is good.
Gosh. Yeah, that's really freaking smart, man. I'm embarrassed that I didn't think of that. Because I'm like, dang, man, that's brilliant. That is really brilliant. I'm going to do that forever now. So great.
Yeah. And you can make as many as you like. That's the other cool thing. You know, you've got stock footage for one type of project or sound effects for something. You have a bin template for that. You do YouTube videos, bin template for that. However many that you need, they're all there ready to go. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I love that. So wow, I'm going to steal that and pretend that I came up with it. So that's good with everybody. I'll
one will know.
Shout outs.
It's fine.
But I am going to steal that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, do, because if it works, if it makes your life easier, for me, it just means that when I go, I want to make a video, I can.
Yeah.
There's no, I've got to spend 20 minutes setting everything up and remembering what I set my levels to and yada, yada, yada. It's just there.
Yeah.
Ready.
Wow. That's a great takeaway for anybody who didn't know that. That's pretty amazing. That's really cool. It looks like you have a video on this as well, right?
I do. I made a video all about this, which talks you through it. on the channel not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, I
Wonderful.
think.
Well, if you don't know, now you know. That's awesome.
Now you know. Yeah.
That's sweet, man.
If I'll show to do it really quickly, the whistle stop tour. All you do, make a bin within your media pool, put whatever you want in it, other bins, drag, effects, anything in there. Then you right click on your bin, sort of at the top level, and then you export the bin, put it where you want, and it's as simple as that. The only thing I will mention is you have to have something in your bins. So if you put an empty bin here and then say that bin 9 won't be carried across, you have to have something in there. But other than that, it's amazing. So there you go.
Yeah. Great tip, man. That's awesome. I love it.
Someone's mentioned my camera looks a bit rubbish. I don't know why, so I apologize. I think Zoom is just being silly.
Yeah, I think it's Zoom being weird today. So it was looking great the other day. So I don't know. I didn't say anything different. Should be fine.
Apologies.
The beauty of doing things live. It's great.
I know. It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weirdly, because I'm using OBS, it's the same as the settings I use to record. So if my recording looks okay, this should. There you go. Live.
Yep, that's how it goes. Yeah, well, Discord does the same thing too. I mean, Discord we actually use Zoom because it does that less often than Discord, which sucks. But
you could just whichever one you choose, the other one will be better on the day. It's just always the way.
That's right. Microsoft Alex Teams. I have to check that out too.
Yeah, someone's just said that Alex works so fast that everything he thinks he's blurry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just motion blur. That's all. It's just motion blur from being so fast.
I'm basically Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about Magic Animate. Because you guys, if you don't know about Magic Animate, like your life is about to change. All right.
Is that your David Attenborough?
Yeah. Here we see. Okay, you just set up your thing, and I'll narrate you. Okay.
You can.
Here we see the MrAlexTech in his native environment. We have him dragging something onto the timeline and resizing it. Soon he will quit out of frustration. But not with Magic Animate, for it is a tool that is beautiful and allows you to animate things quickly without losing your mind. I don't know. That's my best one.
Perfect. I'm going to pay Casey just to follow me around live. So I'll talk you through it. Hopefully you can all see it okay. So Magic Animate is a tool. It's free, by the way, if anyone wants it. It's on my, I think, Blue Peter style. I've got it open. It's on my Ko-fi page, which I'll put a link somewhere so you can have a look. It's free to download. You have to put like a price in the box, but feel free to put $0 in there. If you want to donate anything, you can do, but it is free.
Put $100 in there.
Casey said so.
Do you care? Just do it.
Do it. So it sits within Effects, MrAlexTech, once you've imported it. It's a DRFX file, so once you download it, you just double click. That's it. It installs, and then you're good to go.
I love that's a thing now. It's so great.
I know. It's so good, isn't it? And the folders, it's so much neater.
Oh,
it's amazing.
So much better.
I know. And then you get 3 files. Now, they're all essentially the same thing. Magic Animate, you've got a Magic Animate, which does everything. You've got a mid animation only, which just takes out the in and out transitions. And then you've got the transitions only. Drop it onto whatever you want, and then you're good to go. So in the inspector, within Effects, we've got our controls in here. Now, rather than me messing, I'm just going to show you what it does. Let's make this a bit shorter. We've got all of our transform controls, like you'd expect. Zooms, centers, angles, all that fun stuff. But we scroll down, this is where the fun stuff begins. So I've got whips, and we've got an in and an out tick box. And if I tick in and out, it will simply animate in and then animate out. If we make it longer, it'll animate in, and right at the end, animate out. If we give a cut, we now have 2 ins and outs. So it's dynamic. It doesn't matter how long or how short the thing is. It will always just go in and out, which is cool. And
Like
then
just that is so, just that part. Like if it was literally only did that, it would be great. Because, you know, to make your own transition and everything that has those ins and outs, like you have to know a fair amount of Fusion to like be able to do that. And just to be able to drag that on there and have something that's customizable, so great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it just saves you that bit of time. And it's only, I think he said in the video you made, it's only a few seconds really sort of each time, but you add that up over every project and it saves you loads. It just makes it easier. All the settings for the whip are customizable, so you can change your angle. So let me just, what I tend to do is I'll sort of put my blade somewhere within the transition so I can see what's going on. And then we can change the scale, so we can have it come in more, a little bit less, whatever we need. And then we can change the whip in angle. And we've got the whip out. So if you want it to whip in one way and out the other, you can do that. You can also add little spins to it, so it does like a little jazzy wee, pops in like so. And you can change the curve, you can make it be faster, slower, all that sort of fun stuff. And then you've also got zooms, spins, dissolves, and aspects. And you can tally these up, you can mix and match. So if I've got a whip in, let's turn off the out, we'll go to a zoom, we'll make a zoom out, but also a spin out. And now this is gonna pop in, and at the end, it's disappear like so.
That's the thing, is like, dude, yes, you can make that yourself, but I mean, that takes a while, and you have to know what you're doing, like, and to have things already eased and like all that stuff, man, it's great.
It's just done.
Yeah.
So someone said it's not working on text. So I can explain that really quick. It doesn't work on text, but it does work on Text Plus, because Text Plus is Fusion based. So that's just use the Text Plus one, because you can drop whatever you want on that one.
There you go.
If you're really stuck, if you use the text one, what you could do is right click and turn it into a compound clip, which basically just bundles the text into a different sort of folder, for example. So let's pop that into a compound. And then if we went back to my MrAlexTech, we could pop the Magic Animate onto the compound clip instead, and it would essentially do the same thing.
There you go.
So there's a bit of a workaround. So there you go.
So great.
And the other thing it does, right at the bottom, mid animation control. So if we pop this in, this was the hardest bit to figure out, you know, all of these bits.
I'm sure.
If we give it a bit of a pulse and then we hit play, it's just going to pulse as we go. So we've got a pulse scale. So how much do we want it to pulse? And then a pulse count, so we can make it go a little bit crazy, or we can make it be nice and subtle. We've also got shakes, so it will just shake. And then we've got wobbles, waviness, and again, totally scalable. You make it longer. It's slightly strange because if you make it longer, everything is slower, because obviously it's now longer. So 3 pulses will take longer each time.
Yeah.
But you get used to it. You just have to adjust things, and it will always finish just before the transition starts, which took me like a week to figure out.
Yeah, I was like, how would you do that? that's some maths right there.
Yeah, it really was. I was like dreaming about expressions for weeks.
I bet, dude. Have you done a lot of coding stuff? You've done game development or anything like that?
No, it's literally all just trial and error.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a big learning curve, man.
Yeah, I've got notepads sort of saved on my computer, and it looks like a crazy person's written them. Actually, it's sure. Just me copying and pasting so much stuff going. Or if I change this letter once, what does it do? If I put a number in here, multiply this, what does it do? And it's just pages and pages of it. It's crazy.
I'm sure. Goodness.
So yeah, there you go. That is Magic Animate. Have a play with it. If you break it, tell me what's broke. And if you'd like to see anything else in it, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I could make a text version if people wanted. That would be easy enough to do, actually. I could just put a text box. That's not a bad idea. And something else I've been meaning to do is make basically a Fusion version. So in theory, you could use this standard one within Fusion, but I'd like to strip some of the stuff out so that when you're in Fusion, if you was creating something in Fusion, you could just drop the Magic Animate as a node and it'd do all the animation for you. So if you're building up a different project, you're building up a different composition, you could just use the Magic Animate to do the animations for you.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah,
so
man.
I'll give that a go.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Have like a collection of nodes that you could just drop onto, you know, one part of your composition or something.
Yeah. So if you just wanted the whips or the zooms, you just plonk it on there and it'll automatically scale.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Look at us going, just developing. That's awesome.
As we go.
Yeah. Man, well, this is yeah, it's really impressive, man. And I mean, I do game development here and there, and have done coding and stuff for quite a while, and it's not lost on me how intense the work is on this tool, and how much everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's great," and it's like, you don't know the code.
You don't know, man. I know, but it was fun. I mean, again, I did it because A, I wanted it, and B, I wanted to just mess around and learn things, and it came about. So, you know, get stuck in, try things, see what happens. You might make something cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'll switch back to our faces here for a minute.
Oh, yeah, I'll put my face on.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't checked out Magic Animate, make sure to go do that. You can go to, can they get that from MrAlexTech.com? Is that a thing?
I'll pop a link in the chat.
Okay.
That'll be easy.
Let's get a link in the chat. I imagine it'll let you do that, but I don't know.
Oh, let's find out.
Let's see. It's either that or you'll be banned. It'll be great.
I'll put your link to my shop. That worked.
And if not, you can Discord it to me and I'll put it in chat too. Either way.
Yeah. I mean, if not, just go to kofi.com/MrAlexTech.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So the motion graphics industry thanks you, sir.
You're most welcome.
Pretty awesome. So but you also have a new preset as well, isn't that right?
I do indeed.
Well, let's talk about that, shall we?
Yeah. Let me get some examples on the timeline.
All right.
We'll get going. So this is again, I like this next one, because this fits in with what we're saying. This template I've made is called the Magic Gradient. So anyone that's been working in Davinci Resolve, gradients are relatively easy to do, but you have to go onto the color page and you have to mess around, you know, put an alpha output on there and yada, yada, yada. If you want to do like an alpha gradient so that one video fades into the next one, that sort of thing. And it just annoyed me that I had to go onto the color page to do it. And it's not a massive thing, but I just thought, let's make a quick preset which just takes the effort out of doing that.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I did. And again, Darren said love the color page. I know you do, Darren.
You don't say, Darren. Darren loves the color page, everyone. I don't know if you know.
Yeah. It's like me saying I love the edit page. Like,
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I can give you a real quick demo if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll switch over.
So there's essentially two things that this does. Again, DRFX file, completely free. Download it, use it if you want to. In titles, there's a color generator. I know this sounds really obvious, but there is a color generator. And there's also a gradient generator, which we can put on here, and it just gives us a gradient color. Again, something you think would be really obvious, but you can't do it that easily. You know, if you just want to make I don't know, red to white gradient background, for some reason, you can't do it by default. Unless I miss something, but there isn't a way to do it, is there, in the edit page?
To make just a gradient ramp?
Yeah, there's the 4-color gradient, but there isn't any other way, is there?
I would have to mess around with it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
It's one of those things where, like, I would think you'd be able to, but it seems pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You know,
I was doing it and I was thinking, am I just being silly? Like, if I just missed something?
I missed something?
But if you go generators, you've got a 4 color gradient, which gets you the 4. And
Yeah.
you've got solid color, and you've got a grayscale, but nothing in between. So anyway, so I made this gradient, which does exactly this. Does that nice little color scale, and you can change it to be horizontal, gradients, add as many colors as you want, do what you want from there. But then also I wanted to be able to do that alpha gradient. So I've got these 2 clips. Hopefully you can see okay. One of this bridge and then one of this street. If I go to effects, once again, MrAlexTech, I've got this gradient effect. Drop it on my clip. And now we've just got a nice little gradient. So basically this top clip now is half alpha. We've got a gradient alpha going across. If we open up the Fusion overlay, got a little on-screen controls. We can just change that gradient as we need to.
So nice.
We go to effects. We've got the stuff in here so we can change, you know, the gradient, so the amount on the gradient and the fade. And that's it. Job done. So you've got an effect, which you can drop on anything to give you this fade. And then you've also got that gradient color as well. I actually made a color generator, which is essentially exactly the same as the one that's built into Davinci Resolve, the standard color generator. But because it's a title, you can open it up in the color page and drop effects on it. You can open it up in Fusion. You can do all the sort of stuff which you can't actually do with a standard generator. So essentially, it's solid. It's just the same thing. It's just a big slab of color. But because it's a title, you can do what you want with it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's free as well.
Gosh, yeah, it's like all of that is like stuff you'd think would be easy and would exist already, but it doesn't. So you're just like filling in those holes of stuff like, hey, why isn't this easy? Here we go.
Yeah, and I was almost scared to put it out because I was half expecting to release it and someone was to go, you do know that you can do all that already.
Oh my gosh, I hate that. Yes.
You sit there like, I'm so scared.
Here, I'll switch back real quick. I put out a video a while back and it was like how to dehaze something, you know, and I like went through all this, like how to dehaze like with curves and everything. And it's a great way to do it. And somebody's like, or you could just use dehaze. And I'm like, yes, but it's different. And I like looked up and it's not really that different, but it isn't just in the paid, it just is in the paid version. So it was still a thing. But I felt really dumb because I'm like, I know Resolve.
But there's so much there. It's so easy to miss things.
Yes.
Like we've all absolutely done it. Like even if people don't want to admit it, we've all done it. We've all spent 10 minutes doing a thing you could actually do in 5 seconds if you just clicked the other button.
Yes. Oh.
It's even worse when you're in Fusion.
Yeah.
And you make like 30 nodes and realize there's one node which does it all.
Yeah, there's an effect that already does.
Yeah, and you're like, oh no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's also good, I guess.
Yeah. Delete all.
Yep. Delete. Control A, delete, Control S. Close.
Done. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, well,
So,
do you have anything else you want to talk about, or we could do some questions, or?
Oh, I'm good to do some questions. What have we got?
Okay. So yeah, if anybody wants to ask either of us some questions on Resolve or on the Magic Animate or things that Alex has made, go ahead and post those in chat. We'll take a few minutes here. We do have a couple questions here that I think are related to Magic Animate. Hermie H says, how would you add an animation over a video that's playing in the background? I guess it should be easy.
Yeah. So it depends what you're trying to animate, but you can just put it on the track above, drop the effect on, and you're good. Was that the question?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just have a layer above it, and so you put your logo or whatever it is above your background. Yeah, and that should work because it works with transparency and everything, right? It doesn't make it on black or anything. Nope.
So if you make sure you're using a PNG file, generally speaking, if it is like a logo, and just drop the Magic Animate tool onto the image, the PNG, which is above the video, and the transparency will remain, or the alpha, everything will be see-through, and it will just pop in. and pop out, and done.
Awesome. Is there any Magic Mask plugin for the free DaVinci 18?
Magic Mask plugin? No, that's only in Studio, isn't it? Magic Mask.
Yep.
Yeah, which is a shame because the Magic Mask is awesome.
Yes,
with the new object stuff, it's so clever.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I know there's. Oh, go on. Sorry.
Blue Mode Dies says, why can't I see the stroke property in Text Plus?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's so in the properties of Text Plus, I'd have to I guess I could switch to mine, but so there's like different tabs for the elements, and you have to go to like the second element or whatever, and it has a stroke.
Yes, red outline.
Yeah, the red outline. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's very confusing actually, especially when you first begin.
It's kind of a weird interface. Yeah,
like I don't want 1, I'll turn 1 off, but I want 3 and 4, so we toggle those on. Yeah, it's a strange way of doing things.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, once you get used to it, it makes sense, but like it's not super intuitive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see there are a few comments sorry about the video. We don't know why mine looks bad, so we're very lost about that. So I apologize.
Yeah.
But there is a comment I've just spotted. I've seen 2 actually. One's asking if I'm from Solihull, and the other one is saying that I'm asking if I'm from the West Midlands. So this is just for you, UK, England folk. I am. I'm a Brummie. I'm from Birmingham, from the West Midlands. So there you go.
All right, so post-render plugin to execute a script or a program. Do you know anything about that,
Alex? No. I know you can do scripting within DaVinci Resolve. It's with, I think most people do it with Python, but I've not dipped my toe in any of that. I stay just struggling with the Lua and the expressions is mind like melting enough for me. I'll stick with that, I think.
Yeah. Can a 1080p clip be edited together with 4K clips and rendered as 4K?
It can. It won't necessarily look as good unless you sort of upscale it, which you can do, I believe, in just in the studio version, the super scaling, I think. But you can, honestly, if you put a good quality 1080p clip onto a 4K timeline, someone might notice if they're really pixel peeping and that sort of thing, but most won't.
Probably not. Yeah.
No, especially if it's for something like YouTube, someone's watching it on their phone, they're not going to notice, really. Yep. The setup of the shot is more important. You can have like a really nice looking 1080p shot and it looks a million times better than a totally average sort of dark underlit 4K shot. So
exactly,
that's far more important.
That's the big thing. Yeah. All right. What's the easiest way to delete unused media from the media pool? Do you have a trick you use for that, Alex?
I actually don't. Is there a shortcut? Do you know of?
What I usually do is I sort by usage, and so like you can, in the edit page. Let me grab switch my stuff here. Of course, I'll have to import some stuff. Hold on here. Bloop. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, so here, under, oh my goodness, I don't have, oh no, I have everything messed up. Oh, apparently if you hit, oh, that's interesting. I hit a bunch of stuff I shouldn't have, I guess. Anyway, you can sort these by usage. And so you can click usage here if you right click on this little header thing. And if you have things that are used in a timeline, it will show up as 1 or 2 or whatever, however many times it's used here in the media pool. And you can sort it. And so anything that just has 0 usage, you could delete that. It will also include timelines, so make sure you don't delete your timelines. But that's how I do it, and it works pretty well. Sometimes it like says things aren't used when they are and stuff, and so you can kind of get in trouble that way. But I mean, that's the way that I've done it in the past.
Didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Didn't even know about the usage column. Good
It's
to know.
a thing. Well, great. I taught you something too. Look at this. Look at us.
You did. We should do this more often.
We
It's a learning
should.
experience.
Yeah. Oh man.
What else have we got? Anything interesting?
Yeah, let's we got time for maybe just a couple more questions. Feel free to shout out if you see any.
This is a good one, maybe for both of us. When did you start video editing?
Yeah.
Like the most open question ever. I'll pop it to you first, Casey. What's your history?
Sure. I started video editing in high school with my friends, making movies, and I realized that's really all I want to do. So yeah, I got kind of started just messing with whatever software I could get a hold of. Started with like Windows Movie Maker, and then worked on I think it was Pinnacle Studio, and then Vegas, and then I went to school for video production and learned Final Cut, and then went on to Premiere, and then now I'm on Resolve. So
you've been everywhere.
In some fashions, yes. Yeah. How about you?
I'm slightly strange, actually. Well, generally that's true, but also in my route to video editing, I actually created. It's all because of YouTube. I wanted to create a YouTube channel and talk about photography stuff originally.
Oh yeah.
Cameras, lenses. That's what I was into. I don't know how many years ago. Long time ago, when I was a younger man, and I was using Filmora.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's still going. Really easy to use, but you hit the limit of it quite quickly.
Yep.
Which I found. And then I was looking for an alternative, and I found Davinci Resolve 15 at the time, I think it was, and just got stuck in.
Yeah.
And started playing and started making I originally started doing my 5-minute Fridays as essentially homework. I learned something new. They always say, what's the saying? It's like you don't truly know something unless you can explain it to a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And I'd learn something. I'd figure out the things that would trip me up and then put it into a video to try and explain it in the easiest way possible for others to be able to pick it up. And 4 years later, I think it is, here I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's like somebody was asking, like, how do you practice video editing? I mean, that's one of the big things I think, yeah, probably both of us have found is when you need to teach something or explain something, like, one is you want to make sure you're not a total idiot and that you're fact checking yourself a little bit. But also it's like, yeah, how much do you really understand something if you can't explain it, And so like, yeah, for me, it's yeah, I always do it this way. And then I get like one layer deep, like, why do I do it that way? I'm like, well, I don't know. Isn't it the best way? I guess I never thought about it, and then I like completely redo my workflow because I'm like, oh, after trying to explain why I do this, I realized it's not the best way,
It's not, yeah. And sometimes, even if you're not explaining it to anyone, I know this is going to sound very strange, just talk your process through.
Yeah.
Even if it's just out loud. Because sometimes I'll be doing, I mess around with other things. I used to be into cars and all sorts, and you'd think you're absolutely right, and then you'd talk it out or write it out and go, no, this is totally wrong. I've missed, I'm doing 10 more steps than I need to, or I'm doing half the amount of steps that I need to. When you actually visualize it or vocalize it, it makes way more sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So there you go. Practice, talk about it.
Yeah. Couple of questions. Resolve or Filmora? I mean, we're biased, but Resolve for sure. For sure.
Yes.
Filmora is great
definitely. For
basic stuff, but Resolve is free and can also do basic stuff and can also do amazing stuff. So,
yeah. Filmora is great if you just want to open something up, not really learn it and just drop things on and then go away.
Yeah.
But you'll hit the limit very quick if you want to actually get into the whole process, and you go, oh, I wish I could do that, and you find it's a little bit buttoned down, which is the same thing I found, and the same reason I moved over to Davinci Resolve and
Exactly.
never looked back.
Yep. That's the thing, is like, I always try and be honest, like with my videos and stuff. And it's like, is Resolve the best tool for everything? No. But like, it's pretty darn good for for a lot of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, if I were truly like, oh, man, After Effects is better than Fusion, like, I'd use After Effects. But I'm like, you know, I haven't found a limit that I'm really that upset about in Fusion, like,
no,
compared to After Effects, you know? Or even like, I've been looking into Nuke stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff that people use Nuke for that you can use Fusion for, you know? Pretty cool.
And it's free. Which is crazy. It's mad. Yeah. Like, you can try it, and if you don't like it,
just uninstall it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is strange in this world today.
Yeah. One more thing. Somebody says, is there an evening social meetup Saturday at ResolveCon? Yes, there is. Yep. We will be hanging out. And more details to follow on that in the next couple weeks. Guys, Alex, I'm going to let you run because I got to run too. But guys, thank you so much for hanging with us. If you want more of Casey and Alex hanging out, ResolveCon is the place to be. And we're going to be streaming that live October 1st and 2nd right here on this YouTube channel. We're also going to have a studio audience. So if you want to be part of the studio audience, check that out, resolvecon.com. Alex, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. Thank you ever so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right, everybody. I will see you next week. We're going to have a couple more guests next week too. So you just button your button thing and we'll just be ready.
I'll get the popcorn.
Do you want to do an awkward outro with me, Alex?
Oh, yeah. Go on then.